Ready to go? Sound good? It's an interesting one. We're trying to weigh up our options with the overseas players. Yeah, it's difficult when a lot of teams, international teams, are playing over that period of time. New Zealand, South Africa are in the same time frame as us. Sri Lanka play all year round. England players are probably the ones that you can target. Tissa Pereira would be a great acquisition. He played well last BBL. It just depends on availability. Corey Anderson would be a great addition. Yeah, there's no doubt he's burst onto the international scene. However, New Zealand do play the same seasons as we do, and as our 2020 competition's going on, if New Zealand aren't playing international cricket, he'd be involved in their T20 setup. So I don't think any New Zealand player who's currently in the international setup would be available. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, this year was a big one for the Ashes series was on, obviously, and Australia put a high price on that. And plus, it being a test match series, yeah, the availability was limited. So hopefully next year, with it not being as strenuous with the test matches, the Indians are here for 3 matches. So maybe there's an opportunity that they could be available for more games. However, unfortunately, we don't really have too much say in that. The Australian Cricket Australia do tend to govern what happens with their Australian players. Yeah, I know it's a question that everyone's been asking. In 2020 cricket, you'd like to think that your best batters bat in the top 5. They're the ones who should be scoring all the runs. We never really got off to the greatest start consistently. And if you put Ben Cutting in too early, it takes away a lot of his effectiveness towards the end of an innings. The bowlers have more time to work him out. He's not sure whether to go hard straight up or to settle into an innings. He's best when he comes in with 4 to 5 overs to go. He can be destructive there, and that's his job, is to finish off an innings. It's not to build a partnership with a existing batsman and to carry it on. He's just there to come in and crash it at the end. It's a difficult one as well. Hart's is a fantastic player. Has been a great player for Queensland. Probably more suited to the longer formats of the game. Um, the writing, was a little bit on the wall for him this year with the signing of Craig Keyswetter, who came with great pedigree as a wicketkeeper batsman in the 2020 format. However, you never say never. Chris Hartley is still a feature of Queensland cricket. And if he comes back next year, he starts hitting the ball well, and there's always an opportunity. Mate, we'd be in wheelchairs. I don't think the 94, 95. I can definitely count a few guys out. Alan Border, Carl Rackerman, Dirk Tasler. They probably definitely won't be putting the teal on. Look, no, the players we have got are good enough. Our consistency wasn't great this year. And look, there are some meetings we need to have, and there are some opportunities we can talk about, players and their futures with the Brisbane Heat. I believe that, we do have a great set of players here, and, it's just a matter of them believing that themselves and sticking their hand up and doing their job. Once out of 8 games isn't enough. We need guys to be doing it more consistently. 4 to 5 times out of 8 games would be more acceptable. Oh, Steve, obviously we'd like to go one better. We'd like to make it into the final series. We'd like to finish in the top 2 if possible. We know how lucrative finishing in the top 2 can be going to the Champions League. But yeah, my main goal for next year is to keep improving. We showed how good we can be on certain days. We just didn't put it all together all the time. So consistency will be the number one thing for next year, and that just comes about through good, honest, hard work. It's not a magic pill you can swallow and all of a sudden become a better player. It's just a matter of getting in there, showing the belief, playing with the freedom that we said we we're going to do this year, and keep working hard. So fingers crossed that's how we'll approach it next year. That's probably a question you need to ask Nathan. I've got no idea, to be honest. We get to know the players quite well, but not that intimately. No, very true. The Gabba's a completely different ground to when I first started going there to watch and playing there. The dog track around it, the hill underneath the old scoreboard, plus the Moreton Bay Figs on the left-hand side of the ground as you looked at it from the dressing rooms. Unfortunately, our cricket grounds in Australia now are becoming more and more football grounds. So I'd like to see the cricket fraternity taken back a little more, and that's why I think if there's ever a petition to put drop-in wickets at the Gabba, I think you'll see millions of cricketers sitting on that wicket block, not moving for one ounce of that. So I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it remain a cricket ground. It's a shame the hill has gone. Fond memories of people on the hill. Rupert McCall in the '94-95 Shield final was a big part of our win. And playing touch footy on the hill was one of the greatest things to ever watch. So it is a shame, but progress comes forward. We've got big crowds in now. 32,000 this year watching the heat. Wouldn't have happened in the older ground.